All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are tackling a big one, a really controversial bestseller, Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power.
So let's just jump right in with this idea. What if life, all of life, is basically a game of power? That's the book's central argument. And yeah, it's a little unsettling. It says, like it or not, we're all playing this complex, hidden game.
The book basically sees itself as the unofficial rule book for this game, pulling lessons from thousands of years of history. Now look, there's no way we're going to go through all 48 laws. That would take forever. Instead, to really get a feel for what this book is all about, we're going to dive into its core philosophy by looking at a few of its most, jaw-dropping stories.
Okay, so our first section. Let's start with a really foundational rule of this power game. This one really sets the stage for everything else that follows, and it all has to do with your relationship to the master. So law number 1, never outshine the master. It says you should always make those above you feel comfortably superior. Now, this is crucial. It's not saying you should be mediocre or hide all your talents. Not at all. The whole point is to be strategic. It's about carefully managing how and when you show off what you can do so that the people in charge never, ever see you as a threat. And to really see what this looks like in the real world, we're going to look at a tale of two courtiers. These were two brilliant, ambitious guys, but they handled this rule in completely opposite ways. And the results? Well, they couldn't be more different. This is a perfect example. All right, so in one corner, we've got Nicolas Fouquet. He was the finance minister to King Louis XIV of France, and let me tell you, he broke this rule in maybe the most spectacular way possible. And in the other corner, the famous astronomer Galileo Galilei, who totally, completely mastered it. So here's what happened with Fouquet. To honor King Louis XIV, he throws this absolutely mind-blowing party, the most spectacular event anyone had ever seen. He probably thought, this will really impress the king, but he was dead wrong. The king just felt completely outshone. He felt insecure. The very next day, Fouquet gets arrested, and his punishment? Life in solitary confinement, all because he made the master feel small. Now, flip that completely on its head and look at Galileo. He makes this huge discovery, the 4 moons of Jupiter. But what does he do? Instead of taking all the credit, he brilliantly links his discovery to his powerful patrons, the Medici family. He literally names the moons after the 4 Medici sons. So he doesn't outshine them, he makes them shine by associating their family with the stars themselves. And what does he get? A full salary, an official title, lifelong security. It's the perfect illustration of the law. It's not just about your own talent. It's about making the people in charge feel secure in their position. Okay, so that's how you deal with people above you. But what about everyone else? This brings us to our next big idea, which is all about shifting from just managing how people see you to the incredible power of action over argument. This is Law 9, and it's a great one. Win through your actions, never through argument. The book's point is that when you argue with someone, even if you're right and you win, you often just create resentment. But if you can demonstrate your point, well, that's powerful. That's undeniable. And there's this fantastic story about Michelangelo that just nails this idea. So picture this. Michelangelo has just finished his masterpiece, the Statue of David. But his patron, the mayor of Florence, takes one look and says, "The nose, it's too big." Now, Michelangelo could argue, right? But arguing with this powerful guy could literally ruin his career. So what does he do? He doesn't say a word, he just grabs a chisel and a bit of marble dust, climbs up the scaffolding, and pretends to work on the nose. He's tapping the chisel lightly, letting the dust fall so it looks like he's carving. He doesn't actually touch the statue. Not one bit. The mayor, watching from below, sees the dust fall, sees the change, and is completely happy. He declares it's been brought to life. The masterpiece is saved, and the patron gets to feel like his input made it perfect. Genius, right? So when you look at these stories about Fouquet, Galileo, and Michelangelo, you start to see the keys to the game, The core philosophy of this book really starts to come into focus. So what's really going on here? It really all comes down to this kind of worldview that power is a game of appearances, that you have to master your emotions. It's about making others feel superior to win them over, and that, as we just saw, actions are way more powerful than words. It's also about things like controlling the options and disguising your real intentions. See, the book presents power as this amoral, strategic game. It's not about brute force. It's about observation, indirect action, and really just understanding human psychology, all that vanity and insecurity, and using it.
Okay, so this brings us to the final section, your move. Because when you absorb this worldview, it forces you to ask yourself a really important question. And here it is. In the game of power, is it better to be a player or a pawn? That's really the provocative question that sits at the very heart of this book. Its final and maybe most important lesson is that this game is always being played around you, whether you're aware of it or not. So the only real choice you have is to decide how you're going to play, or if you're going to play at all.